Alright, who remembers this bike? 1982 Honda XL500. As you guys know, I bought this bike maybe, it's been like 2 months now. And I bought it for 1,300 bucks. Got it home, readjusted the valves, did a bunch of different things, cleaned up the carburetor, and tried to get this thing to run. It wouldn't run. I kicked it over probably a million times and still wouldn't run. The compression on it ended up being low. So we found out after tearing it down that the rings were stuck to the piston. I think just from sitting, and you can kind of see where it sat in the cylinder, where that rust is right there. So I think it was just sitting for a very long time, and that's why the rings were stuck. We got the rings unstuck, and I was gonna buy some new rings for the piston because the piston's in really good shape. But it looks like they don't sell rings for the stock piston anymore. All they sell are the Wiseco rings, which means they only work for a Wiseco piston. So we are going to reuse the rings that were in there, just clean them up. And the ring gap I already checked was pretty good, so we shouldn't have a problem. I was going to buy a new Wiseco piston, but I kind of like the stock better. And then the valves look good. I might replace the valve seals while we're in here. And then all the rockers and everything look good. So I've got all the parts. We can just put it back together and see if this thing runs for the first time. Alright, first things first, let's get the base gasket on. Going to put a little gasket maker on the surface here. What you want to do with the surface is wipe it off with brake cleaner, otherwise this gasket maker is not going to stick to it. So we wiped it off with brake cleaner, got the old gasket off. Just applying some of this. You just need a thin amount on there. This is just to help it out a little bit. Make sure it doesn't leak. Get that. Alright, that looks good. Alright, we've got the brand new gasket kit here. Open her up. Here's the base gasket right here. And you gotta get the rod through it as well. That can be kind of tricky. There we go. Lock that down. Perfect. Looks like we're missing one dowel pin. Can you get that in there? Alright, we got the piston in. You can see the in is on the intake side of the engine when you install the piston. But all the rings are lubed up with oil. Everything's looking good. Piston's cleaned up. So let's get that cylinder honed out and get that on there. Alright, lube up the cylinder wall here. A little bit of oil. The cylinder looks really good actually. Spread that around. I can feel the rust though. Pretty good surface rust on there from sitting so long. Alright, today we're using the biggest hone we have. The biggest ball hone, I should say. This sucker is gonna fit right in there. Hopefully it's big enough. Feels like it is. Should be enough to get the surface rust off. Looks pretty good. It's nice and lubed up. done here. Cam chain going through. Alright, cylinders on, piston's all good to go. We just cranked it over a couple times, it's all smooth in there. So let's get the head on next. We've got to quick change out these valve seals. It's pretty easy, you guys have seen me do this 100 times, so we'll quick do that and we'll get the head on pretty easily. Alright, let's check her out. There's a valve, you can see there's carbon buildup on it. Yeah, the seat's a little rough in there. Definitely needs to be lapped in again. So, we'll clean this valve up. Alright, we've got a little lapping compound here. Spread that around. Shove that valve in there. Alright, valve is all lapped. Let's get this valve seal off and replace it with a new one here. Oh, that one's really bad. That one's really not good. That one's a really bad valve seal. Oil the new one up a little bit. Shove that on there. Like so. Looking good. We'll get that valve in there. Put a little dab of oil on the shaft here. Shove that in. Voila. Alright, then we can get our springs back on. And that one will be done, and then 3 more to go. Alright, head is finally done. That took forever. Finally got her to go. Alright, torque specs for the head, 28 foot-pounds. Alright, we set this thing to top dead center, and then as you can see, there are two lines that are going to be parallel with the surface of the head. You can see this one right there, and then that one right there, and that one right there. And the lobes on this thing are pointing down on the cam here. So this thing's all set to go. Let's get the valve cover on now. Intake valves are set to 0.002, and the exhausts are 0.003 inches. So those are set. It's perfect. Now let's get this engine in the bike. Alright, so we took about a month and a half break from this bike because I had ordered a bunch of parts and they came incorrectly. It must have been for like the 1981 version. So I ordered the seat, that was incorrect. Except for the pipe was incorrect. Decompression lever was incorrect. So I sent it all back, and we finally got the right stuff. So we ended off the video last time where we had the engine on the bench. We got it in here finally, and we actually got new mounts. So we got all the correct mounts for it. Those were pretty expensive. All the right bolts are in there now. Mount at the top is correct, so all the mounts are perfect on this thing. And then I actually had to make my own decompression lever. So I bought a cable making kit online, and that seemed to work pretty well. So we'll see if that works. But it turned out pretty clean, and it looks like it's working. But, yeah, so we actually got the correct seat now. First they sent me this one, which was a 1981 version. You can see that doesn't fit. The seat actually goes this way, not that way, so it doesn't butt up to the gas tank. And I bought another $130 seat, and this one is actually correct for it. So that one fits on there like that. So we have a seat. Took forever to find. And then for the pipe, we looked for these parts for about 2 months. So these are what hold on the pipe. These were missing from it, so I ended up finding some on eBay. These are like non-existent. They don't make these anymore unless you want to wait like 3 months from China. And they don't make these anymore, so it was really, really hard to find. They were selling this just alone for like 200 bucks. Sometimes they had these, sometimes not. So ours was in really good shape. I didn't want to spend that much money on one of these when I already had one. So I waited for like 2 months, and finally these popped up with the clips. So we'll install that today and see if those work. But that should work out pretty well. And then let's see what else we have. We got the gauges mounted properly, kinda. This is a gauge from a different year, so I had to just zip tie it in the spot because it actually hits the ignition right here. If you go a little bit more. We still have to install the clutch lever, but I think everything else is installed. Oh yeah, and then the battery we have to install. So lots of stuff to do today. But yeah, I think we've got all the rest of the parts over here. We've got the chain, the blinkers, skid plate. Oh yeah, and then the petcock for the gas tank was corroded out. So here's the old petcock. You can see there's a big hole in it. So that is actually coming tomorrow. So we should be able to fire it up tomorrow. All right, let's see if we can get this pipe on here. Oh, those are pretty tight. Alright, I think we got her to go here. Just have to tighten up the bolts. All right, headers are on there pretty good. Let's get the silencer on. This big boy. It's gonna bolt up there like that. At least I have the bolts in there. And we'll tighten these, clamp those down, and the pipe will be officially on. I bolted up the seat. The seat bolts are actually right there. You can see they attach to the bracket right there. So, starting to look good. All right, we got the heat shield on. Plastics are on. Got the chain on. That's all easy stuff to do. And we've got the guard that goes right there. Looks like we've got bolts in there already. Alright, now we just have to find a clutch lever for this thing. So let's see if we can go up in our parts bin and find one up there. Alright, let's go up in the attic here. Let's see if we have any parts up here. Alright, let's see what we got. I think all the levers, brake levers, over here maybe. Alright. That looks like a Honda one. We need a perch though too. That's the problem. We have plenty of levers. Do we have? There's a perch right there. See if we can make that work with something. I think I found one. I think that'll work. Or we've got this one too. We'll try both, see which one will work. Alright, so it looks like this one's gonna work. I think here. Alright, is the clutch hooked up? Nope. Screw this guy all the way in. Now we just gotta pull. Try to make this work here. Alright, now it should fit in there. There we go. Just tighten everything up and we should be good. All right, this thing is looking really, really nice. Check it out. Cleaned it up a little bit, wiped it down, got off all the dirt. It's looking really clean. Before the first start, we're waiting for that petcock to come yet, but I want to change the oil here. So the oil drain plug is right below the shifter right here. See if you guys can see it right there. I believe it's a 17 millimeter. Oh man. Oh. Looks like newer oil coming out. Nice and clear yet. So I'm guessing the guy did a fresh oil change on this before he sold it to me. There's not much in there though. Alright, we're gonna add about 1.5 quarts, check it, and then if we need any more, we'll add a little bit more. 1 quart going in, we're using 10W40 wet clutch oil. All right, and then the next quart. We'll check it right there. Gotta hold the bike straight up and down here. About halfway on the dipstick. So we can add a little bit more. Check one more time. We're pretty close to all the way up now. I think it was just tilted. Yeah, we're good. So oil change is done on this thing. All right, it's the next day. We got a battery for it. $100 for the battery. And then a big petcock came in the mail. Let's get that installed next. Then we can finally attempt to start this thing up for the first time. We had to take the gas tank off the bike. So everything should be set to go. Just stick that in there. There we go. Alright, that's all good to go. Alright, so it looks like somebody tapped these out before, so you can just screw these in. There's no nut on the other side, I guess, for some reason. It's like a used battery. What the heck? Oh, man. Alright, battery's hooked up, everything's good to go. See if anything turns on with the key. Woohoo! Neutral light. Blinkers work. Cool. Don't blink, but they work. Does the tail light work? Tail light does not work. I don't think. some gas in it. Let's see if the new petcock works. Hopefully it does. Oh yeah. Good gas flow. Reserve works, cool. Alright, for the past probably hour I was chasing a no spark problem on this thing. Turned out that the pickup coil wasn't plugged in. So I tore apart the ignition, the kill switch. Took up everything, and I was getting spark when I was doing the kill switch on and off, and so I thought it was the kill switch, and it ended up being the pickup coil. Wire was stuck underneath the engine and it wasn't plugged in. So now that we've got spark, let's see if she starts up here. Oh, she doesn't want to go. Alright, we put some gas directly down the spark plug hole. Oh, she won't fire up. Alright, spark plug was fouled. Try this again. Beast is alive. Finally. Woohoo. Headlights working. Smoking quite a bit. Sounds pretty good. Wow. Can't believe it started. I was giving up hope there for a little bit. Yeah, so the spark plug, check this out. I don't know how I didn't notice it before, but this spark plug is loose right here. So that was coming up. So it was sparking outside of the spark plug, actually. So that was the whole cause of it not starting. It was still sparking here, but it was also sparking outside of the spark plug. So I inspected that and I was like, why does that look bent? And sure enough, it was broken off, so. Yeah, that was the problem. I probably kicked this thing over 100 times before we finally got it to start, so. But yeah, first kick. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's go test drive this thing and see if it goes into gear. Alright, first ride on the XR500. Let's see how it goes. This thing definitely has a ton of compression. You have to wear a boot kicking this thing over. Let's see, turn it on. And it backfires too. But if you get the right kick, it starts right up. Don't have a rear brake. We'll take her on the road too here in a second. First, second, and third are working. Might have to adjust the back brake. Doesn't seem like it wants to work right now. Try to find neutral here. Turn the idle down a bit too. Just the back brake here a little bit. Woo-hoo-hoo. Take her on the road here. Idle might be a little bit low. Cannot believe it's running. Yeah, she goes through all the gears. Ah. Back brake stopped working. Alright, first ride went pretty well. Runs, goes through all the gears, has good power. We were leaking oil somewhere. Let's see, where are we leaking here? I think out of the drain plug, because that drain plug was kind of janky on there. Looks like there's a little oil leaking from the valve cover as well. Let's see on this side. Oh yeah, there's some oil leaking right here. You can see it all. I don't know where that would be from. That's weird. Overall, I'm happy with it. The goal for this project was just to get it to run, and we achieved that. I thought for sure when I was kicking it over and it wasn't starting, it wouldn't start, but we got her going and she runs pretty good. She does smoke a little bit still. I'm wondering if that's from the pipe. I don't know. But yeah, she runs good. I'm happy with it. Guys, that wraps up the project on the Honda XL500R. Obviously, I've got some more work to do on it. Just fine tuning it and getting everything set, finding out where that oil leak is from, cleaning that up a bit. But overall, it's a pretty sweet bike and everything's working on it. All the lights work. All the lights work on the Speedo. It's just we need a new cable for the Speedo to work. So a couple more things and this bike will be ride ready. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, stay tuned for next video, and until next time.